Hey, welcome. It's New Thought Talk with Rev Steve. It is Saturday. Day is a great day today. You know, every show we have anymore, I think, is absolutely incredible, but it seems like each one gets a little more and more incredible. Today I've got a co-host, Baltazar Villarreal. Welcome to the show, Baltazar.
Thanks, Reverend
And
Steve.
our interview guest for today is a gentleman by the name of Clay Boykin. And Clay is out of Austin, Texas. And he is the founder of the Men's Fellowship Network. Some incredible stuff going on. I spoke with Baltazar here a while back. We've been friends for a long time about creating a men's group here in the Central Valley. And Clay came into my life, and now we have an opportunity to visit with him on the show. I'm not going to give you a lot of background to Clay. He's had experience in management and all sorts of business stuff, but I want Clay to tell us his story. Clay, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. Thanks, Reverend Steve and Baltazar.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, all right, Clay, tell us about yourself. How did Clay from Austin, Texas, Texas A&M graduate, end up doing what you're doing today? My goodness.
Oh, wow. Well, I had 20-plus years in the high-tech industry, went to a couple of startup companies after that. And I tell you, climbed the corporate ladder like we guys are supposed to do, and climbed to the top and found that I was empty. As a matter of fact, I was 53 and had a life-changing experience. Found myself in Jamaica in the woods with heart issues, and of course I wasn't going to go to the hospital there. Long story short, it was a sacred event. And I leaned pretty heavily against the veil. Got back to Austin, and sure enough, quintuple bypass 24 hours later. Did some recovery there, made my commute to Chicago, not Chicago, but to New York City where I was officing. Climbed the Empire State Building for the first time, looked down at my office on Park and 32nd Street, and I said, you know, metaphorically, I've made it to the top. And I'm empty. It's almost killed me. What am I doing here? And a few weeks later, market crashed, and I found myself without a job for the first time in over 30 years. Dark night of the soul. I sat on the sidelines for almost 2 years. My next job was $9 an hour, part-time at Office Max. And so, you know, I went from the top to the bottom. And it was at about that place that I walked into the Unity Church here in Austin, Unity Church of the Hills, and was immediately felt the embrace and began participating there. Actually, I was going to several churches, 2 or 3 on Sundays. I called it churfing. And,
okay.
Yeah. And I settled in there at Unity Church of the Hills. And long story short, I eventually became a prayer chaplain. I also saw the need for, I didn't feel connected with the guys. And myself and 3 other fellows said, let's get something happening here. And we got to do it, and we got to do it differently. And that's where we started about 3 years ago.
You know, Clay, when you say do it differently, you really did. When I was talking to Baltazar, initially we're talking about men's groups.
That's right.
Groups, which is a term that you don't use, and we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
But, one of the things I said is I didn't want this to turn into a men's bitch session, excuse my French, but, that's what they turn out. And I didn't want it to be some kind of pious spiritual thing because that tends to drive people away. We talked about the masculine energy, and, you had a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
And it was something Steve and I had been processing it a little bit on each of us by ourselves and then together. And we spent quite a few hours talking about this, and it's been coming up as a subject for years, literally. And as we kept on moving forward, we kept on thinking, what do we not want it to look like? What versus what is it that we want it to look like? And that's when Steve says, I want you to read something Clay wrote. So just to give us some ideas. I said, oh, okay, that sounds wonderful.
I have in my hot little hand here something that Clay was gracious enough to send to me, and I printed it out. It's a book in progress, and sometime in the future we'll go over it. But Clay, in this manuscript, you lay out how it was that this different format unfolded. Tell us about it, because it's unique, but it works, and it seems to work very well. And I know that Baltazar and I both felt a strong alignment, attraction to it. So explain that to us.
Well, we guys are a bunch of lone wolves, and and we've got a full life, and we don't like to commit to anything. And when I look at joining a group, you're either in or out of the group. And I'm already committed at work, and I've already got family stuff going on. I don't know if I can go to join this men's group. And by the way, that group's been going on for a while, and I'm not part of that group. So I'm either in the group or I'm out of the group. To me, it was like, take everything we learned about organizational structure, organizational dynamics, everything we learned in the corporate world, throw it out the window. Just get rid of it, and let's just be totally counterintuitive. Consequently, we have a little framework, but not very much structure. We call it a gathering and not a meeting. It's a men's fellowship network and not a men's fellowship group. A network being more open and accepting, people flow in and out. And these days with the internet and so forth, people understand network, and as opposed to being closed into a group. We have gatherings and not meetings. When guys go into this mode of a meeting mode, then what's the agenda, what's the discussion topics, and who's right and who's wrong, and all the dynamics that goes there. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's a gathering. We have topics of conversation and not topics of discussion. We're not there to fix each other. We hold space for one another.
Oh, wait. You mean you're?
Oh, okay.
What do you mean you're not there to fix each other? I mean, isn't that what we're programmed by society to do? I mean, for crying out loud, we're men. We fix things, right?
Reverend Steve, let me fix this for you.
Oh, do tell.
It's a place where guys can take off their pack. And leave their briefcases out there, outside the door, leave their swords, come in, and it's a place where it's safe to go into our heart, and that's we don't know how to do that. I say we collectively, we do to a certain degree, but is it safe? It's a place where we can be vulnerable, and vulnerable in the spiritual sense, where we're standing in our truth. Not vulnerable in the sense of being protective, and I got to protect myself. No, if I'm standing in my truth, with courage, as Brene Brown talks about it, that's what we're about, and it's a place to do that. The guys, some guys come in there and they don't talk, but you can sure see the wheels turning, and you can sure see the energy going. Other folks speak, and I act as I'm a catalyst. I'm there to say, here's our topic of conversation, and by the way, I'm not an expert on it. I'm not here to teach anybody, but let's use that as a start point.
You mean you're not the leader of the group? I mean, isn't that what tribal organizations do? We're men, we have our tribes, we have our
And you're the leader.
And you're the leader.
No, I really consider myself a facilitator. Catalyst. There's times when I go in there, and it's happened when I'm not on top of my game. I've been chewed up and spit out during the day. There's stuff going on in my life, and I'll come in and say, well, this topic spoke to me. I put it out there. But guys, you got to carry this tonight. You know, I need to sit back and listen. I need to absorb. I need to receive. And it happens. It just works. And so I can be as much of a silent participant as the next guy.
That's powerful, Clay. We're up for our first break now, so we're going to cut away. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the dynamics of this gathering of men. You know, us men, we have our power game, and it plays out. Clay was in the corporate world, and Baltazar, he's got his background. He was in seminary, and he went through some stuff. And what he does now as a therapist, working with patients, and my background, and it's varied and rather interesting. But anyway, we're going to talk about some of those dynamics when we come back. We'll see you in about 2.5 minutes or so.
This segment is brought to you by author Ralph Arbitel. See his latest book, Aces, in our bookstore at CentralValleyTalk.com.
We are conveniently located across from Bullard High School on North Palm Avenue in Fig Garden. Morales Wellness Dental offers quality-oriented family dental care and service in a personalized and comfortable manner. As you enter our office, you'll always be greeted by our warm, caring dental team and will be invited to relax in our finely appointed lobby. We have 7 patient treatment suites that feature monitors for your in-op entertainment and diagnostic review. Our comfortable hygienist suites are the ideal setting for regular cleanings and checkups. As safety is our utmost priority, all instruments are put through our modern sterilization center. Furthermore, our sedation suite offers you both comfort and peace of mind during advanced dental procedures. And for your privacy, we have 2 separate patient consultation offices. Take the worry out of your next dental visit by calling us today. Experience our commitment to excellence, respect, and honesty at Morales Wellness Dental.
The Simonian family has been farming in the valley for 3 generations. Cold weather, drought, or accidents made ag investments risky. In 1951, C.D. Simonian started his own insurance agency to protect valley farmers from the uncertainty of the unknown. For your agricultural insurance needs, call C.D. Simonian Insurance Agency at 559-834-5333 or visit us on the web at cdsimonianinsurance.com.
For Italian cuisine, you've grown up knowing that DeCicco's in Clovis has the best. Now, for grown-ups, DeCicco's Lounge at Clovis and 4th in downtown Clovis for your after-work relaxation and all of your special events needs. DeCicco's Clovis Lounge.
Are you currently shopping for solar? Give Solar Negotiators a call. You see, what they do is they fill downtime at a reduced rate to make sure that you always get the best deal. Don't find out later that you could have bought your solar for thousands of dollars less. Call Solar Negotiators.
If you're looking to go solar with confidence and have someone represent you in this transaction, give Solar Negotiators a call at 844-OWN-SOLAR or visit solarnegotiators.com.
You have sleep questions? Mattress Land Sleep Fit has real answers. Oh, I feel like people need a map to find their way around some mattress stores.
No, what people actually need is BedFit. It's a diagnostic system that maps your body for you. It measures your height, your weight, your distribution of weight. It actually measures your lumbar curve and how flexible that is, along with a little bit of pain questions, and we're going to find the right fit for you.
The right fit for me?
The right fit for you.
Shouldn't have bought that GPS.
Yeah, it was probably a bad move on your part.
Mattress Land Sleep Fit. The right bed, the right experience, the right price.
This segment brought to you by Art Douglas Plumbing Incorporated. For all of your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs, call 559-222-5306.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to New Thought Talk. I'm the Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center, located in beautiful downtown Madera. My co-host today is Baltazar Villarreal, and our guest today is Clay Boykin, the founder of Men's Fellowship Network. And this whole dynamics of men interacting with men, the way society defines that we're supposed to interact, what happens when things don't go the way it's supposed to. And Clay, as I've mentioned, you came up through the ranks of the business world, and as you said in your introduction, you got to the top of your game. Baltazar works with individuals that they're more tribal and the about as raw as you can get.
About as raw as you can get.
I mean, I think we've covered the spectrum between the two of you. How does that play out in your men's group?
Gosh, the spectrum. We have a wide range. I guess we got a few guys that are in their 30s, but mostly 40s on up to 80s plus. Okay.
Really?
And they're a wide range of backgrounds. Very wide, from the corporate world on up to the other side. One fellow that we dearly love drives these big monster rigs, these big old monster dump trucks and so forth, and he's a former Marine and just salt of the earth guy, and we love him.
Now, you're a former Marine also, aren't you?
That's right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You have that experience that you bring to the table also.
And it's really interesting, and I appreciate you mentioning that. Back in the late 80s, when I was in the corporate world, I said, well, what are my leadership values? And I said, well, here's what the Marine Corps taught me, and here's what Motorola was teaching me at the time. And here's what the business books were teaching us about leadership. And I took all that stuff and kind of rolled it together. And there was a book called The Leadership Challenge by Cousys and Posner. And they had a handful of principles that seemed to transcend all of the areas. And at the time, I said, okay, this is my credo, encourage the heart, creating an inspired vision, modeling the way, these sorts of things. And, when I look at the Marine Corps and I look at the corporate world, that is underneath the essence of all of it, and that those play out. And the thing that was enabling me to be successful in the environment I was in was that leadership. And it wasn't until 5 years ago when I began at Unity that I started to realize what I was doing was bringing spirit into an organization. Encouraging the heart. Here we are in a high-tech environment, encouraging the heart.
That's it. But we're men. We're not supposed to go there. Heart. We don't talk about things of the spiritual nature. That's for the women. They go to church and they do all that stuff. We stay home. We watch our sports stuff and
barbecue.
Yeah, but at some point, and it seems that it's a point when we have a few miles under our belt that we begin to realize that maybe, like you did, maybe there's more to life than just the chase, so to speak.
Right.
Baltazar,
that brings up a good point. I mean, when we've gone through it, as much life experience as we have, in our circle on Monday nights, we have 20 to 30 guys. And, pick an age. We're all over 40, or, most of us are. Do the math. There are literally over 1,000 years of life experience sitting in that circle. That circle of wisdom, over 1,000 years of wisdom, something we learned as a child, something I learned as a child, may come out in something that I say, or just a mannerism, or how I connect in with the rest of the guys, either verbally or non-verbally. And that's communicated. And we learn from each other. Sometimes it is by what we say, reflecting on our own experiences, and other times it's just the energy that's in the room. As a matter of fact, one night we sat there and our conversation ebbed into a silence. We were talking about holding sacred space. And, you imagine 25 guys ebbing into silence and no one feeling like they got to jump out there and say something. But there was this sense that was going around the room, and it was palpable. And finally, somebody broke the silence and said, well, what just happened? And we said, well, we're holding sacred space for one another. And you could feel it. You could feel it. And our level of connection just went to a deeper level. As a matter of fact, just right after that, somebody said, you know, I hold space for you every day. I think about you, and I think about you, and another guy said the same thing, and it ricocheted around the room. A minute later, somebody said, okay, at 11 minutes after 11 every day, I'm going to have my phone chime, and I'm going to hold space for everybody just for a second or two. And everybody else kind of chimed in and said, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. And so this morning at 11:11, as I was preparing for this interview, it chimed, and I knew that my brothers were holding space for me.
What a powerful thought! What a powerful tool. You know, you work with people that are kind of spiritually on the way outs. I mean, way out. When you come together, you do group work, right?
I do group, yeah.
How's the dynamics work out with that?
You know, and it's interesting. I think Clay could relate. You know, oftentimes the men at different levels, we all need a place to remove our armor. Mm-hmm. You know, from the outside world, whether you belong to this group, this race, this ethnicity, this cultural background. And so when we do those types of groups, I've noticed that as we're able to do that with other men, the term we use is modeling, as we facilitate that, to hold that type of space and to be able to sit. Sometimes to sit in silence as someone else is processing through whatever pain, whatever woes, or even joys that they're experiencing. And so those aspects are universal. Those aspects are universal with all men. We find it in the corporate world. We find it in team building. It's really, we find it in some of the ancient tribes, in some of those ancient traditions, that those are the real teachings coming forward.
You know, we kind of skirted around this issue of age a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, you know. All right. Yeah. But, you know, some of us, no names mentioned, but some of us have reached an age where back in time we would be considered elders, if you will. But in today's world, we are wisdom holders of some sort because we've got the mileage and the experience under our belts. And when you get younger men that come into the group, Clay, because you say you have between 20 and 30 or 40 people in the group, but the men aren't always the same men every time the group meets because they, as you mentioned, they flow in and out. But the younger men, how the dynamics of their interaction with the group, how does that work?
Beautifully. You know, some of the raw energy and some of the perspectives that come in is incredible, and I don't know that I can really explain it, but the wisdom and the learning goes both ways. If nothing else, it's the young fellow wrestling with whatever the issue is he has, which reminds me or reminds another one of the fellows, oh yeah, I remember I learned that lesson, and wow, I forgot about that. And so wow. He just helped me. And so it's reciprocal. You know, one of the common denominators that we all have coming in there's a couple of them. You know, we're all on our hero's journey, you know. God bless Joseph Campbell. And we've all had gone through or are going through our own dark night of the soul. And we all have a father wound. And underlying all of that is fear. Now, tell me that we guys don't have stuff in common. And if we're able to touch into that, just tease into that and connect with one another and say, yeah, I've got pain in that. You know, I've gone through tough times. My tough times aren't like your tough times, and we're not going to compare them. And, you know, but we can hear each other, and we can hold that space for one another. And that is very powerful, and it begins to open up and recognize that, gee, I thought I was the only one with a dark night of the soul, or the only one that has a father wound. And gosh, I'm not alone. We all have this.
Well, maybe you do, but and I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but you know, bringing men into the kind of group that you have now. You have a congregation. He's got a congregation there, about 1,500 at the Unity Church there in Austin.
Right.
So you've got a larger base, but in an area where you don't necessarily have large congregations, drawing men into the group. What what do you see as the best? I don't know, the best way to attract them. To get these guys over their stuff and get them through the door so that they can get into stuff that really matters.
It's kind of like quail hunting. If you shoot at the whole covey of quail when it flies, you're not going to hit anything. Mm-hmm. You got to go one at a time. Mm. And that, I think, is how we've grown. It's been me with another person, and we scratch a little bit below the surface, and then there's a third person, and then there's a fourth person, and that energy starts to happen. And pretty soon, in the foyer of the church, instead of fragments of one guy, the guys all standing mixed in with all the women, you start to see 2 or 3 or 4 guys gathering, and there's an energy exchange. There's some sharing and connections. And then one of the most important things is whether you have 2 or 3, however many you get, you have to establish a drumbeat. We debated, well, we'll have a quarterly breakfast, or we'll get together once a month because, that's a lot of work. And I said, no, if we're going to do this, we have to establish a drumbeat. I'm going to be there every Monday night, whether there's one person, 10, 20, or whatever. So it's there. Well, and what we learned when we did that, said, okay, well, it's all, we're going to put a clipboard out and everybody sign up. And nobody signed up.
Yeah.
Guys don't want to commit.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Now, that said, they showed up. Mm-hmm. Okay? Right. So, hence the drumbeat, every Monday night, and no commitments. No commitments. And some of the guys, I heard it last week, I keep coming back because I don't have to.
Oh. Yeah, that's
wonderful.
That's typically what us guys do.
We don't need someone else shaming us. You need to show up. You need to make a commitment.
Why didn't you make it?
Yeah.
Right. Why didn't you make it? No, this is a flowing in and out, and the mix is different. We've got a core of about 150 guys. Mm-hmm. 20 or 30 can make it. That's it. We got one fella who is a FedEx pilot. We Skype him in from Guadalajara,
wow.
from London.
Wow.
We've got another fellow who's up, I think, in Montana, who moved up there. We bring him in.
Cool. Yeah. All right, we got to take our next break. Okay. So we're going to pick this up when we come back. We got some good stuff on the table here, folks. Hang with us. We'll see you when we get back.
Thank you.
This segment is brought to you by Jonathan Rooker of the Law Office of Nuttall and Coleman. We help good people during tough times. Call 441-0441.
Can't find a copier or printer that fits your needs? Are the costs for printing just too high? A+ Business Systems focuses on what you need. A+ Business Systems will reduce downtime with automated alerts via email, notifying us when your printer is low on supplies. All for low, affordable monthly costs. Have you ever had a desk looking like this? A+ Business Systems will set up paperless office electronic document management software where you store every important document. With A+, there's no worry about digging through archived documents. Our electronic filing system provides the speed and efficiency to search and retrieve documents to meet the demands of modern-day businesses. Learn more about A+ Business Systems, software, services, and more at apluscopiers.net or call us at 559-442-3564.
For Italian cuisine, you've grown up knowing that DeCicco's in Clovis has the best. Now, for grown-ups, DeCicco's Lounge at Clovis and 4th in downtown Clovis for your after-work relaxation and all of your special events needs. DeCicco's Clovis Lounge.
The Simonian family has been farming in the valley for 3 generations. Cold weather, drought, or accidents made ag investments risky. In 1951, C.D. Simonian started his own insurance agency to protect valley farmers from the uncertainty of the unknown. For your agricultural insurance needs, call C.D. Simonian Insurance Agency at 559-834-5333 or visit us on the web at cdsimonianinsurance.com.
In 1985, Larry Korth set out to help his friends, family, and community find affordable ways to buy a home or a business property. 30 years later, Mid-Valley Financial is the premier mortgage banker in the Central Valley. The professional staff at Mid-Valley will find the best mortgage products for your family. Mid-Valley Financial takes great pride in being the Central Valley's local lender. Visit us at midvalleyfinancial.com.
Are you currently shopping for solar? Give Solar Negotiators a call. You see, what they do is they fill downtime at a reduced rate to make sure that you always get the best deal. Don't find out later that you could have bought your solar for thousands of dollars less. Call Solar Negotiators.
If you're looking to go solar with confidence and have someone represent you in this transaction, give Solar Negotiators a call at 844-OWN-SOLAR or visit solarnegotiators.com.
For all of your real estate needs, call Mike Briggs Properties, 559-486-6758, or check us out at MikeBriggsProperties.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Well, it's New Thought Talk. This segment, I've got, again, my co-host, Baltazar Villarreal, my guest for today, Clay Boykin, the founder of Men's Fellowship Network, and I am your host, Reverend Steve Walling from the Spiritual Awareness Center, located in beautiful downtown Madera. So anyway, as we were going to the break, we were talking about the men's group, the age thing, and all this sort of stuff. But something very important came up on the break, and that's donuts. You didn't think I was going to bring it in, did you? But
no, I didn't.
A little humor's good. But on a more serious side, one of the things that you wanted to bring up, Clay, and it's in your manuscript, we talked about it, the idea of dealing with transition when you have family members or you have maybe even a member of your group that has made their transition, they've left this plane of existence, and in your manuscript you talk about a member of your group that he lost his son, and how, explain how the group dealt with that.
Boy, and have to bear with me a little bit because it still touches deeply. A tragic loss of a son, and all the aftermath that took place. To be there in ICU was tough, and to see this father turning loose of his son, and knowing at a certain level that this was it was all in divine order, but in the humanness to be able to accept that, the struggle that went on, and what I saw, an outpouring of men coming together, just touching in so deeply. It was a real. It really moved us all to a much deeper level. It's hard to talk about it without going into a lot of detail, which I won't. But suffice it to say, all of us circled, and we learned through that experience what holding sacred space was all about. To be able to hold our brother while he was going through this, and to stay with him throughout until he got to the other end, and we all came out together.
Yeah, and that's to be a holding sacred space. That's not a common topic in men's interaction with men, and the example that you just shared is probably the most powerful example that one could give. For a parent to lose a child, I don't think there's any worse tragedy that a parent can experience. But men, we're supposed to buck it up, guy. We're supposed to be tough. you know, and we don't cry, and we don't do this stuff.
You have to hold it together. You have to be the example and not share your emotion.
You know, but
Right.
but have a space where you can go to, where you can.
You know, and stemming out of that came for us a real heartfelt connection with what compassion's all about, and the difference between empathy and sympathy. You know, and still really beginning to really embrace that concept now. So to hold sacred space, to have compassion, to be there with empathy, all of that is just a rich topic that that's important for us men to touch into.
You know, Clay, he's talking about topics. One of the things that I really appreciate since we've had our chance to interact, and I have friended you on Facebook, is the post that you put up and the web page that behind those posts. It's was it what is it? Men's Fellowship?
Yeah. It is mensfellowship.net.
Yeah, mensfellowship.net. And for those of you that are watching, and you don't have to be of the masculine gender to pull a lot of good stuff. You go to that webpage, she's got it's a wealth. It's just a trove of all sorts of great stuff. And it's a resource that, you know, I think we'll be using it. And as we move forward.
I'm sorry. You mentioned something there about not just for men. I was running some numbers just a couple of days ago, and would you believe that I think it's 54% of the people that are going to the page are women. And I asked myself, why is this happening? You know, part of it's curiosity, and part of it, maybe they're just stalking us. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, the hairs on the back of my neck begin to go up a little bit. You're not giving away any secrets now, are you?
No. Yeah. But you know, I was out making a presentation to a small group in a small town near here called Bastrop, and I was talking about those statistics, and this woman sitting next to me said, well, you know, perhaps some of us are going there to understand our own masculine spirit.
Sure.
It is all this emphasis on the divine feminine and so forth, but I have a strong masculine side to me, you know, and I don't understand that. And where do I go to get that, to understand that energy so that I can be truly a divine feminine, which embraces both my feminine, my female, and my male parts in balance. Right. Just like us men. Mm-hmm. You know, I talk about masculine spirituality. Well, that's an oxymoron to some people. They give me the RCA dog look, you know, like, huh? You know? Yeah. But in truth, you know, we have got to embrace the female or the feminine within us, as well as the male. And once we're able to do that, then we can be completely standing in our masculinity. And that's what our women want. Right. They want us to be the complete male. They don't want Rambo or so forth. They want us to be complete. And that's our work to do. That's where we find in our hearts. That's where these experiences, these life experiences that we share together, bond us. And we can't do it in a mixed setting. It's got to be men. It's got to be men together experiencing this and saying, yeah, this is it. This is something deeper. And now I understand what it is to be truly a masculine spiritual male.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, as we spoke on the break, and you and I have spoken of this, and Baltazar and I have spoken of this, that, you know, for a long time we know that society was heavily masculine, and then, you know, starting in probably the 60s, you know, the whole feminine movement that has grown, and it kind of pushed masculinity off the table, so to speak, because it was a reaction to a long period of time of, you know, you can call it repression or suppression or whatever you want, but it's been kind of the societal dominant focus for so long that you have young men growing up and that have grown up in more recent times that don't know how to connect with their masculinity because society hasn't given them the venue and stuff.
Well, that touches right into the father wound, because at some point a young boy has got to leave his mother. He's got to turn from her and go to connect with his father or father figure, and he goes with his arms open because that's what connection is as defined by the mother. And Dad's not there, either physically, emotionally, psychologically. He's not there, and for good reason. He's off to war. He's off earning a paycheck to put a house, roof over her head. He's suffering PTSD, and so where does the young boy go? Where does he find that masculinity? And he bounces, and somebody says, well, here's what it is over here, climb the ladder or so forth. But,
Or there's a local street youth group, we commonly call a gang or whatever, various sundry other things. And you see this a lot in the greater poverty areas. And we can talk more about this. We're going to our third and final break. We still got a lot of good stuff to cover, so we'll see you when we come back.
This segment brought to you by Alfei International, the next wave in health and wellness. A traditional Chinese organic medicinal mushroom superfood is now in the U.S. Go to joinalfei.com/Brett for details on becoming a distributor. For Italian cuisine, you've grown up knowing that DiCicco's in Clovis has the best. Now, for grown-ups, DiCicco's Lounge at Clovis and 4th in downtown Clovis for your after-work relaxation and all of your special events needs. DiCicco's Clovis Lounge.
Are you currently shopping for solar? Give Solar Negotiators a call. You see, what they do is they fill downtime at a reduced rate to make sure that you always get the best deal. Don't find out later that you could have bought your solar for thousands of dollars less. Call Solar Negotiators.
If you're looking to go solar with confidence and have someone represent you in this transaction, give Solar Negotiators a call at 844-OWN-SOLAR or visit solarnegotiators.com.
Black MP makes up for nutrients lost to filtering, pasteurization, and processing, and it provides the probiotics and humic and fulvic minerals that can lead to optimized functioning of all the body's cells and systems, increased energy levels, and overall enhanced health and well-being. A scoop of Black MP in 16 ounces of water once or twice a day can help you achieve your health and performance goals. For more information, go to our website, blackmp.net, or call us at 559-799-9879.
You enter this door with expired tags. Beyond is another dimension, a dimension of regulations, a dimension of long waits. You have reached the registration zone. What looks like an ordinary shop is actually Mitchell Smog, located in the heart of the Tower District, a few minutes from the DMV. Mitchell Smog offers your vehicle a STAR-certified smog inspection. So remember Mitchell Smog when you need to pass through the registration zone.
This segment brought to you by Clovis Botanical Garden. Visit the garden Wednesday through Saturday from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Find them online at clovisbotanicalgarden.org.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back. It's New Thought Talk. I am the Reverend Steve Walling. My guest today is Clay Boykin. My co-host is Baltazar Villarreal. And during the break, actually, as we were going to the break, we're talking about young men in society and there not being any role. Okay, welcome back. It's New Thought Talk. I'm Rev Steve. My guest today is Clay Boykin, founder of Men's Fellowship Network, and my co-host is Baltazar Villarreal, and we're going to move right along. We're talking about rites of passage for young men because there's no modeling, there's no place where they can go in the modern world. We've lost the old paradigm of the caveman John Wayne type of thing, and in our society, Baltazar tell us again now that we're back on about the programs you were talking about, the leadership in the programs and stuff.
There's aspects, and we've been discussing this, over time as there's been this evolution of man and humanity willing to adapt to the shifts and the changes, and with the change that has happened all around the world, and that divine feminine aspect. What has happened with man? He's lost his place, and he's struggled, and men do struggle with that. We were talking a little bit about even graduate programs in different areas, that there's more of that women who are in those programs stepping forward. And men have lost their way. Men have lost their way, and the need to come forward together and stepping into that.
The old rites of passage are no longer there for men.
None.
And you were going to say something about that,
yes.
Clay.
You know, the rights of something that I guess I've kind of been aware, but it really struck home over the past few years. The importance of that, and what I've learned is, it's not the fathers that take the young boys out. If we look at go to Africa, go to the indigenous cultures around the world that still have these rites of passage. When a young boy gets to be 12 years old or so, he's taken out, and things happen. They scared the heck out of him. They wound him in some way, and they give him a message. Because what is it? Our frontal cortex doesn't all connect until we're in our mid-20s. So to teach a boy a lesson, to give them a lesson, you have to do those sorts of things to impress upon them, to get that into their fabric, that yesterday you were a boy and today you're a man. And it's not the father that takes them, it's the elders. Sitting around our circle
sure.
are elders. We are the elders.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to renew those rites of passage, whatever it is, however it's done today in today's society. We have to find those rites of passage for those young boys so that they can stand and embrace their full spirituality, their full maleness, and embracing the divine femme and the divine masculine, so that we can take our place rightfully beside the divine feminine. And that's what she expects. She expects us to be there. We're down here. We've got to up our game because they are more conscious than we are. Gross generalization, but there's truth to that.
There is. And our society has no vehicle, if you will, for the elder male to work with the 12 year old, 13-year-old young man, and oftentimes as a result, particularly in today's environment where you've got young men in areas where there's poverty and the societal issues are going on, they're out, and their rites of passage, if you will, are into some gang of some kind, some where the societal pressure kind of pushes them.
Right.
And so the men's group is a great that's a great builder for that kind of consciousness, for the elder consciousness.
Yes, it is. And 2 points. Although we're a contemplative group, we're not out. Although we did it one night, beating drums. That's a story for another time. But we sit there inside, and going on outside in the yard is a Boy Scout meeting going on. And we see the Boy Scouts doing that. And I think back, and there's rites of passage going there. I think of Order of the Arrow when I was a young scout,
right.
And the ordeal that we went through in Order of the Arrow, that was a rite of passage. And so there are elements that are there, whether it's in Boy Scouts or whether it's in a Big Brothers program, where they're teaching the young kids. It's there, but it's fragmented, and it's not a prominent element of our culture, of our society.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's that's true. We don't have anything to offer our young men that spans the country, if you will, that spans the consciousness. And I just got a wave from Bill. He says we're going to go for another half hour because the conversation's so great. No, I really hate to do this, but we're going to have to wrap up the show for today. Clay, I'm looking forward to having you back. Once your book hits the stands, I believe in the work that you're doing. I love what I read in your rough draft. Baltazar, I want to thank you for being with me today.
Again. Thank you.
This was a great men's deal, and we're going to split up, and I'm going to go have some donuts, man. I want to thank you all.
Thank you, Clay. Thank you, Clay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're just going to have to wrap it up at this point, my friends. And what I want to do, as I usually always do, is tell each and every one of you that are out there today that the light of God surrounds you and the love of God enfolds you, no matter where you're at. You know, the power of God protects you and the presence of God watches over you because you are God made manifest as you. And it can't get any better than that, my friends. Go in peace, blessings, and life is good. You are protected, and so it is. Blessings. Bye.
This segment brought to you by Crown Realty in Tulare. Let the professionals at Crown Realty Property Management take care of your rental properties. Visit TulareCrown.com.
We are conveniently located across from Bullard High School on North Palm Avenue in Fig Garden. Morales Wellness Dental offers quality-oriented family dental care and service in a personalized and comfortable manner. As you enter our office, you'll always be greeted by our warm, caring dental team and will be invited to relax in our finely appointed lobby. We have 7 patient treatment suites that feature monitors for your in-op entertainment and diagnostic review. Our comfortable hygienist suites are the ideal setting for regular cleanings and checkups. As safety is our utmost priority, all instruments are put through our modern sterilization center. Furthermore, our sedation suite offers you both comfort and peace of